We were schooled by government textbooks that you are innocent until proven guilty, that you are safe until a group of people say you aren't. So when teaching Black, Indigenous, and people of color about life and the court process, make sure you tell them the version for them written by you. Tell them that the ones who have caused the most harm will be free and innocent, and the ones who have been harmed but preserved are guilty. And tell them that you make your guilt their crime. It is simply the mirror that reflects what they did to us.
Like the sensory thing, and that's what I really enjoyed about it, the sensory part of it.
This space would be really good to feel the anxiety of
in every room. I kept seeing like a representation of eyes
dying or crossing over.
Like there was sounds, noise, and there was movement, there was lights.
Big figure comes out and starts doing that dance.
And it was just these images that were either looped together.
And it kind of reminded me of like, you are being watched always.
The chicken head just stays there, sits there all around you, looks at you, stares at you.
Or, spinning around at a pace like if you're in the middle of a film reel.
And whatever you do is something that kind of follows you.
I noticed that these eyes never make direct eye contact with you or each other.
I feel like every room is like a different step that you have to go through to get to whatever heaven is.
When they say you die, you go through that 7 seconds.
After death, you have to go through
These 7 seconds we are living right now.
different judgments.
When we do die, and I feel like that's what it is.
It seems like very beautiful, or it seems like you see it as a whole and you're like, this is art.
Until it goes back into that chain.
As you look closer, you start seeing like the cracks in the walls.
Which it was so very, very cool. I love stuff like that.
And you start seeing the things that are imperfect or maybe scary. So yeah, that's what I thought of.
A good place. A good place. I like this spot. This is my favorite. Right here is where the
favoritism. My innocence was left to freeze outside the warmth of favorite children. While others were getting their ego nurtured, that cold shoulder gave me wisdom. If I want it, gotta get it on my own. I can't be held back or work out of spite. Gotta let go of the love that was never shown. I've grown with no sunlight, that nocturnal flourish. I reach and touch the sky where the favorite rose gets plucked. Elitism. Thrown in a glass vase and given a risen value. They can cop me wrapped in plastic, sold on a freeway exit by some brown dude. Same composition, but with elitist eyes, you'd be convinced of the increased prices despite the decrease in size. Who you gonna believe, them or your lying eyes? They want you to put trust in the 1% who got no idea what's really going on during these trying times.
Nationalism.
Trying to figure out what fate and faith are, but they're quiet in the cut, deciding mine. I know the Pledge of Allegiance better than most Bible verses. My soul is worthless unless I spend it on the highest of costs. Only gonna be remembered if I die a martyr, whether I like it or not. Anything for this land I call home but calls me intruder, vile and evil. I'll never be one of the good ones, so might as well give them what they like from my ego.
Imperialism.
Use me to do the dirty work, divide and conquer. I ride through, slide the 9 to Bonnie, and glide to the other side of town where I'll do the same to your partner. Colonialism. No questions about it, and we really don't be asking questions about it. It's as simple as if I say I'll get you, then I got you.
Capitalism.
And it wasn't too personal, it's just survival of the fittest. And word on the street is you had the top product and I'm trying to make the top dollar. You really thinking someone with this mentality can suddenly turn around and fund themselves to be some college honor student? We're stuck in an endless maze of not being rich enough, relying on people buying us off of parking lots for copper pieces. And yet Jesus was a carpenter, but at least he didn't have to worry about not being tipped enough.
Racism.
About not being spick enough for sympathy or not being wide enough for scholarships.
Sexism.
About not speaking right enough during interviews and not being man enough to fill bigger shoes.
Ageism.
About not being old enough to understand and not being young enough to be relevant.
Cynicism.
Jesus was perfect and I'm far from it. Guess it makes sense why I was more hell-bound than Henderson. Guess it makes sense why I was more likely to pick up a 40 ounce and to practice my penmanship.
Idealism.
I would have tried harder if I didn't think it'd be a waste for me to get better equipped and educated. Or if I wasn't convinced that valedictorian was reserved for the ideal student. If I'm not even a second thought, then why do it?
Existentialism.
I used to sit and gaze at the moon and stars, wondering if I could reach them before I see a room behind bars. Till I look back at my family history and see that not one of them became a dream chaser. Just alcoholics, emptied out wallets to satisfy vices and never really put family before profit. So who am I to break a cycle that's never been challenged? And who am I to decide the confines of my manhood when I've never seen what a real man is? And who am I to aspire to leave behind positive change on a doomed planet? I am but the one speck of dust that causes avalanches, the small snap of branches that scares away your chances at a clean shot. I'm the one being you don't want to mess with unless you want to deal with the whole pot. I could have been the superhero for little brown eyes to look up to instead of the founders cooking on the stove pot. Our limitations know no bounds, and that's the only thing I'm pleading guilty of.
Everything is spinning. It's spinning out of control. All I see is things beautifully dangled in my face and spin. Bang, spinning, don't shoot, spinning, say their name, spinning, protest, spinning. Everything continues to spin just as the world does. Things made to look so beautiful and shine brighter than the sun rising on a sundown town. Like the refuge, bright lights of a cop car that leads you to pray, please God, I don't want to be another hashtag. I just want it to stop spinning, because when it does stop spinning, I can live free and breathe the fresh air you breathe without the fear of it being my last. When will the chambers of your revolver stop? Or will they just keep spinning?
So I'm in this room.
You know, it's so beautiful.
Sometimes they're colorful, sometimes they're not.
And it's got always this movement to it.
Sometimes they're spinning, sometimes they're still.
It's almost breathtaking. Not even almost.
But they all tell the same story.
Because it's like, damn.
The story of a life cut short.
And some of these pieces
And yet you see the little guns
have the strap in the middle.
spin, and it gives like this like flashing,
It's overwhelming trying to understand the story of every single piece.
almost danger type of thing.
It was made so meticulously,
Like talking more with Nick Cave and like looking at the things that he does
cared for so lovingly.
really gives a different meaning.
But also, like, depending on where you stand,
Just like the lives each one was inspired by.
there's either like a clear path of rose,
It's a galaxy of pain,
or it's a big mess that doesn't look like you can get through.
and I can't handle it.
So it's like, depending on your perspective,
The more I try to understand it, the more I get overwhelmed, because there are too many pieces of the story.
depending on where you are,
And I can't keep them straight,
the path is clear,
and that makes me part of the problem.
or it's not.
So I know all the stories.
Those are my thoughts for this one.
I lost you once. Once I did, I lost everything else. The heat from my veins traveled into my words, and little by little my words turned cold. I lost you once. I was unable to see. I bumped into the wrong crowds, the wrong lovers, the wrong friends. I'm left with bruises on my chest, a whole canvas lies on my skin, hues of purples and pinks inside and out. My cuts now turned into scars, and still I search for you to see the actual damage. I know you're in here somewhere. I feel you. Your bright little light, glistening and glowing, guiding me still.
Our nets were so intricately woven. We used them to feed villages, but you used them to capture us. Your nets are filled with deceit and lies of better. Our fabric runs deeper than your beginnings that you tried to hide from us. The beads represent all the beads Black girls ever wore. Thousands of beads from thousands of heads that held thousands of years of ancestry. Not boxer braids, not knotty buns, but cornrows and bantu knots. Our hair is as old as time, and you wish you could show up on time, but the truth is that my watch is a sun. And even if you didn't run, you would still miss it.
The weight I put in people's hearts outweigh their fear of hell. Bead by bead, prayer by prayer. Their souls are seeking comfort. Take down your judgments and give life to your compassion. I am merely your vessel, your pen to paper. Bead by bead, I hear you plead.
My favorite piece of the exhibit.
And one of my favorite pieces is
This exhibition, like, you're filled with different emotions.
I'm just awestruck.
Experiencing it.
I feel like this piece.
I think it talks about people of color. So much comes from us, even in the darkest and the saddest of times.
Represents just a lot.
Even if we don't see it right there in the moment,
Art exhibitions have a way
we definitely see it in the future.
of making you more mindful.
There's a lot of like beauty.
The beautiful thing about the flowers in the piece,
Whether it's paying attention to
I really love the nets, the beading, the colors.
the material that the artists use.
Especially at the top, there's the Pan-African colors.
There's not much that I can say about this.
The very small details,
Other than fucking wow.
the colors.
Really pulling the natural essence of our power and our beauty.
In the midst of like, you know, black people's struggle.
Even if we're drowning and even if we are
Damn, this is gonna be dope.
in the ground, so many things, a legacy still comes from us.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for all of us to be up in here.
I bet it feels nice to be serene, to be at peace. Wonder what it's like with no routine and no disease by the police. I know to some it sounds dumb, but I won't succumb. That day will come.
Walk 100 miles, no shoes, I had to fight. Feet dirty nights, keep checking me for my stripes. What you bang? Round here, these Jewish stars mean a different thing. Some traveled in traffic, me, I took a different lane. Before Hove was on the road, my family had did things that left a mark on my soul. My brother told me you gotta stick to your code. Jesus washed disciples' feet, I had to watch where I did my toes. Cross the wrong street and you could end up on the road. Father, stretch your hands, they make you give up your gold. The city cold, cops tell us to freeze. Put us on our knees, 100 rounds where you breathe. None of my idols wearing Bibles. The only gangsters were disciples. None of my idols wearing Bibles. God forgive me or at least don't hold me liable. God forgive me or at least don't hold me liable.
I bet it feels nice to be serene, to be at peace. Wonder what it's like with no routine and no disease by the police.
Yeah. Sit back and take tokes with the whole man. Reunited, I'm coming home in the morning. Huevos rancheros, tortillas all on the side. On my plate, can't help but feeling like maybe I am at a place who's saying grace for the first time that I can remember. And the last thing I was looking at was holes in my sweater. Now they're gone, and I can't feel the pain. I'm just hoping the homies back home can say the same. Is this a game? It's time for eating, it's looking like there'll be plenty. And no one's looking funny if I sip on this Henny. I'm feeling guilty for finding a little piece. Can't have feeling stuck, not knowing why they've chosen me.
Dandelion wishes drifting in the wind like whispers of my name. Now that I'm laying 6 feet under, it'll be drop like rain until it ends up in a gutter. Forgotten, I'm lost in the ethereal, so peaceful. A new reality that seems familiar, but I pray it isn't this evil. And the sequel of my journey will look nothing like the last. Maybe this is God giving me another another chance to right my wrongs, wash from the sin that I've laid in. A seed planted in a puddle, but I've grown some thicker skin, and I will take these lessons, learn to provide my next of kin. Like when the devil starts dancing, I will not let them win. And I always knew that money would never make it past the gates, but this rebirth made me appreciate what's on my plate. Like Jesus at the stake, I'll die again. Enchanter, commander, look into the sky for questions unanswered, and I will show the world my life still matters.
We are one.
Why can't I speak?
We are everyone.
Is it because I'm scared?
We are nature.
Is it because I don't want to lose?
We are the heaven that we pray that we see when we leave this world behind.
Is it because I'm not politically correct?
We hold on to that regret and still grieve for our loved ones, that we might hear just one more, what was your favorite color again?
Is it because I don't want things to come to an end?
And we race to the finish line, but we shouldn't, because
I miss being alive.
we savor the journey, because once we get to the end,
I miss my smile. I miss my laugh.
I believe that those loved ones and teachers
I miss being
want to
my
hear the
human.
full story when they ask us, what did you learn today?
I've seen him. I've met him. I want him, but he don't want me because I won't speak. I won't tell him I miss him. I won't call him. I won't tell him how I really feel. Speak. Speak. Speak, damn it. Fine. All right. I love you. I love you. That's all I wanted. Why do you hurt yourself? Why don't you love yourself? Because I love you.
I used to think heaven was filled with white lights, white robes, and chandeliers. Then I had a revelation. Jesus looked like me. With that in mind, my whole life changed. The star of the atmosphere became colorful clothes, curly hairs, and chicken wings. The bar was flowing with free wine, and the bartender named Genesis, who always had the juice. The ham would not be cursed, and the macaroni and cheese would not have raisins in it. Those who looked like me would glow an unattainable glow. Different colored skin folks would celebrate and laugh with no cares for tomorrow, and chill and drink margaritas with Eve because flow stopped. Heaven is so colorful that even the whites and blacks begin to shine a light so bright that Ray-Bans could not help you gain sight. Everyone's head would be iced out with crowns specifically made for them, some with diamonds and pearls, with swirls of stardust, and some with rubies and gems, and the light will never dim. Where Soul Food Sundays is every day and Flashback Fridays are no more, heaven is popping, and every day you can eat with your ancestors and joke and laugh. Heaven is the place where color, good food, love, laughter, family reunions, spades, Uno, and faith collide.
We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough. And it is because of our effort toward getting straight to the root that people oftentimes think we're dealing in hate.
I never understood why you hate the truth. If the truth sets you free, then I guess you're the real slave. I know heaven is so beautiful because God looks like me. You're so scared to be free, so you keep your shackles on me.
I've always been afraid I wouldn't be human in heaven because then I wouldn't have free will. Then I think about that twice. I'm earthbound and yet don't have it still. I'm afraid I'll be brainwashed, but the brainwashing is already happening here on earth. Telling me who I'm supposed to love, telling me who I'm supposed to look, telling me I have to live my life a certain way or face the consequences of a book. I don't think God intended me to live my life this way. The way to reach heaven is by reaching happiness first, then to complete the purpose assigned to me on this earth. To live freely and fiercely, have my own healing love. 'cause he knew Earth would need somebody like me, somebody like you. I don't want the photographs on my altar to depict a misrepresented version of me. If they do, that means I was forgotten a long time ago. Through my photographs, see my love, see my passion for life. In them, I hope you can see yourself and know whatever happens in this world, you'll be just fine.
The beautifully chaotic presentation of life begins when you first feel your sense of hate. A hate that surrounds you and makes you question your values and morals. You see, color is hated and degraded in life. In death, it is needed like colored glass windows in cathedrals. You are being watched through these windows. Everyone is intimidated by the colored glass, so see for yourself what heaven is like.
I don't believe heaven is all clouds and rainbows. We're told that, so we stop wanting more from our lives. Do this, don't do that, or you're gonna go to the bad place, said by the very people that make this the bad place. Depression isn't just actions, it's a state of mind. So maybe heaven can be a state of mind as well. I don't believe it is this fantastic whitewashed world we're led to believe. I think it's a place for people of all color, where you can feel safe and comfortable in your own skin. And we don't have to wait. Heaven can be here. Heaven can be now. We just need to decide to build a better world right now.